So basically, if you're going into blogging on a website or social media or aspiring to be a web developer or a designer, well, you should know that H1, H2, and H3 tags are very crucial into the web space. And most importantly, they are the most important part in SEO 101. And what I really mean by that is it impacts your ranking in AI, Google, and Bing search results, making it easier for the algorithm to understand your content much more better. Whether you have a landing page, an about us page, or a service page, the algorithm will understand it if you use the proper heading tags. And now, here's a typical example of what I really mean. When you go into Bing search tab and type the keyword Abelites, you will notice that the search result understands what I was looking for and was able to pull out more information about me from my website. And now when you go into Google search result and type the same keyword, you will notice that the AI was able to understand the assignment of what we are looking for and was able to pull out much information about who I am. And that's because I was able to use my heading tags properly. And here's a little information I put on my website about me, which has made Bing understand my assignments. The same thing with Google. If you notice from the search results, Google was able to understand who I really was and try picking up important information from my website. And that's because I was able to use my H1, H2, and H3 tag properly on the website. And this has really made my ranking for the keyword Abelite much easier for people to really find me. And I will show you how this is really done, shall we? When you buy a house for the first time, and by the way, congratulations, the name of the estate or the street is called the domain name. And the name attached to your home, which gives it its own identity, is called the H1 tag. While the owner of the house, which is also called the subhead of the house, carry the H2 tag, which is responsible for every properties in the house, like the beddings and the furnitures. And that which the H2 tag is responsible for is called the H3 tag. I hope you're getting something. Now let's look at it in a real world scenario, shall we? Let's look at what the H1 really is and how important it is in the search results. The H1 tag is considered to be the title of a content or page of a website. Basically, they're in charge of every content that goes on in this body. From the H2, the H3, and also the body tag. They are absolutely in charge of everything. And that's where the search engine gets to understand them better. So if you're beginning a website or a blog, you have to know that the first content is actually considered to be the H1 tag in every scenario. But there are some platforms that don't actually give you a heads up. Like for instance, people using LinkedIn or Medium, or web designers using Figma. The H1 tag isn't automatically presented to you like WordPress. But you should know, as for Medium or LinkedIn, the algorithm already understands that the first content of the page is actually known as the H1 tag. While for web designers or developers using Figma, you have to automatically change the div tag to the heading tag, making it easier for the search results to understand your content much better. Now that we have talked about the H1 tag, let's move into what is underneath it, the H2 and the H3 tag. The H2 tag is considerably known to be the subhead, which controls the H3 tag, and also the H4 and the H5 tag. Though people don't usually use that so much because the search engine isn't really considering that as a ranking. Like the name implies, subheading, they give a title to the content of a page of a website. For example, if we have 3 types of bed in a website content, and for whatever reason the H1 tag is called what is a bed, the H2 tag helps the algorithm to understand that there is a heading content that tells more about what is a bed. I hope you're understanding the point. Now that we all know that, it doesn't really stop there because we are telling the algorithm that there are 3 types of bed, and that is exactly where the H3 tag comes into play. The H3 tag provides content about what the types of beds are available in the H2 tag, which you could definitely begin your list like robin, canary, and eagle, and so on. Whatever list you provide, that is the H3 tag under the H2 tag. Now you understand the heading tags, you should know that all this work well when there is a body attached to it. And this is where the search engine understands your content better. For an instance, if you're building a page called About Us, you should know that the title is called the H1 tag, which makes the algorithm to understand what the page is all about. And what comes afterward is the body, and that is where the message is being passed in the content. And you should know this applies to all the content writing platforms and helps AI, Bing, and Google search engine to understand your content better. And believe me, people will always write and talk about how to get the viral post, but they will never tell you how to utilize your content and rank more on the search engine. And if you apply this to your content, there is no doubt that you'll be seen like me and help your client understand you or your business better. You know what? I am definitely sure you enjoy this content. And if you really do, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to really help me produce more of this kind of content. And until next time, see you in my next video.